Hello fight fans, thanks for joining us at MMA Insider. Before we get rolling with today's news, show some love by hitting that like button and subscribing. Now let's uncover the latest happenings in MMA. Starting off, Kamaru Usman explains why he believes Alex Pereira is pound for pound #1 in the UFC. Moving on, Conor McGregor banks big after $1 million wager on UFC 307 main event. Lastly, Strickland believes boxing leads to more brain damage than MMA. UFC star Kamaru Usman believes Alex Pereira is the #1 male pound-for-pound fighter in the promotion right now. Last weekend, the legend of Alex Pereira grew even further. He knocked out Khalil Rountree Jr. to retain his UFC light heavyweight championship, taking him to 3-0 for the year in the promotion. As you can imagine, there's been a great deal of praise for the Brazilian in the immediate aftermath of his win. In fact, some even believe he has earned the right to be called the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the UFC. During a recent episode of his podcast, Kamaru Usman weighed in and actually agreed with that idea. I think he is pound-for-pound king because of the way he's able to fight. Not the way he's able to fight, but the way he's able to make his opponents fight and the way he's able to dispose of his opponents. I love Islam and his abilities. I think Islam, of course, has more tools in the shed, but for what you have to work with, Alex Pereira, I believe he's the pound-for-pound. I can't be biased to the standard that I'm held to. The standard that Islam is held to, because there's a lot more men that weigh Islam's size and my size than they do Alex Pereira's size. So with what Alex Pereira has to work with, he's disposing of these guys that way, so I have to give that to him. Former two-division UFC champion Conor McGregor's big gamble on the UFC 307 main event between Alex Pereira and Khalil Rountree Jr. paid off handsomely. Pereira defeated the surging Rountree in the UFC 307 headliner last Saturday in Salt Lake City. It was the third successful defense of the UFC light heavyweight title in 2024, and his third victory in just 7 months. After an up-and-down first few rounds of action, Pereira poured it on the championship rounds. In round 4, Pereira overwhelmed a battered Rountree to earn a TKO victory and retain the belt. McGregor, who isn't a stranger to jaw-dropping moments and finishes, predicted Pereira versus Rountree would end in a knockout. The prediction resulted in a $200,000 profit after putting down a $1 million wager. In a recent tweet, McGregor showed off his winning wager. "If you don't take risks, you won't drink champagne." After Pereira defended the belt, McGregor posted a live reaction to social media, imploring the 205 pounds champ to move up to heavyweight. McGregor was supposed to headline UFC 303 in his Octagon comeback against Michael Chandler, but he withdrew from the event due to injury, and Pereira swooped in to save the card and take a short-notice title defense. Pereira earned the then-vacant UFC light heavyweight belt by defeating Yuri Prochazka at UFC 295. He knocked out Jamal Hill at UFC 300 before finishing Prochazka for the second time in their short-notice booking. McGregor is planning a UFC comeback in 2025. Meanwhile, Pereira will look ahead to another light heavyweight title defense, likely against the Magomed Ankalaev versus Alexander Rakic winner. Former UFC champion Strickland believes boxing leads to more brain damage than mixed martial arts. The conversation of brain damage, and in particular CTE, has been running rampant in combat sports for a long time now. From boxing to mixed martial arts and beyond, the study of CTE is pretty fascinating. It's even extended to professional wrestling, showing just how widespread the issue has become. Someone who has both taken and given out a lot of damage over the years is Strickland. As we know, the former middleweight king is pretty outspoken in his views, and unsurprisingly, he wasn't willing to hold back when discussing this matter on social media. In particular, he focused on the comparisons made between boxing and mixed martial arts. Boxers and MMA fighters always argue which sport takes more brain damage, two autistic people competing to be less autistic. But as a man who trains at a high level in both, boxing takes way more brain damage. This tends to be the popular opinion for many when the two are compared. Firstly, boxing is a lot more head-based when it comes to targeting shots. In addition to that, the knockdown rule, which gives boxers the chance to return to their feet before the 10 count, means they often sustain more damage throughout the course of an entire fight. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. Your dedication and support fuel our passion to bring you the latest and greatest in the MMA world. If you enjoyed today's news, please give us a thumbs up and share it with fellow MMA fans. Remember to subscribe to stay in the loop with daily MMA updates. We've got a lot of exciting news, interviews, and analysis coming your way every single day. Your engagement helps us grow and serve the MMA community even better. Once again, thank you for being an integral part of our daily MMA journey.